In the world of UFO lore, few figures are as polarizing as Dr. Karla Turner, a college professor turned alien abduction researcher. Turner claimed to have uncovered unsettling truths about extraterrestrial encounters. Her work pushed the boundaries of belief, presenting accounts of abductions, psychological manipulation, and human complicity with alleged alien entities. Turner's work offers more than just eerie stories. It challenges our understanding of reality. She painted a picture of experiences that defied explanation, weaving together testimony and patterns that hinted at a larger, unsettling agenda. While her findings remain provocative, they also compel us to ask, could these accounts hold the key to understanding humanity's place in the cosmos? Or is there more to these phenomena than meets the eye? In 1987, Turner's life took a dramatic turn when her husband reported seeing a metallic spherical craft hovering over a courthouse in North Texas. What began as an isolated sighting soon spiraled into a series of bizarre events, including physical ailments, vivid nightmares, and unexplained periods of missing time. Under hypnosis, Turner and her family recovered memories of abduction by non-human entities. These recollections involved invasive procedures, communication with alien beings, and a sense of profound manipulation. For Turner, these experiences were more than personal. She became an investigator, collecting stories from abductees across the country. Her findings, chronicled in books such as Into the Fringe from 1992 and Taken from 1994, painted a picture of an alien agenda far darker and more insidious than mainstream ufology often portrayed. Yet the reliance on hypnosis as a method of recovering memories remains a contentious issue. Critics point to the lack of corroborating evidence for these alleged encounters, arguing that hypnosis can create false memories, influenced by the expectations of the hypnotist or the cultural zeitgeist surrounding UFO phenomena. Turner's extensive interviews unearthed a striking consistency in the experiences recounted by abductees. Many described being taken aboard alien craft where they were subjected to invasive physical examinations, often involving bizarre medical procedures with no apparent purpose. These procedures frequently targeted the reproductive system, leading to deeply unsettling claims of hybridization experiments. Abductees often reported being restrained, their captors coldly efficient, yet indifferent to their fear and pain. The entities described during these encounters were as varied as they were unsettling. Chief among them were the iconic Greys, small humanoid figures with large black eyes and emotionless faces. Others spoke of insectoid beings with spindly limbs, reptilian creatures with scaled skin and sharp teeth, and even human-like Nordics, often described as tall, ethereal, and eerily beautiful. These Nordics, while appearing less threatening, were not universally seen as benevolent. In fact, their human-like demeanor often heightened the sense of manipulation and control. Perhaps most disturbing were the accounts of forced sexual encounters. In one particularly harrowing case, an abductee described being approached by a figure who appeared to be her deceased husband. Overwhelmed by emotion, she initially believed it to be a miraculous reunion. Yet as the encounter unfolded, the illusion shattered, revealing an alien entity that had deliberately assumed her husband's likeness. Such stories of deception and psychological manipulation were a recurring theme, leaving abductees doubting their own senses and memories. Turner believed these experiences pointed to a calculated program of control and deception. According to her findings, the entities, whatever their origin, possessed the ability to manipulate human perception with unnerving precision. She argued that they could implant false memories, fabricate virtual reality-like scenarios, and alter emotional states to achieve their aims. These abilities, she suggested, were not random, but part of a deliberate agenda to exploit and influence humanity. Despite the visceral nature of these accounts, the theories they inspired remain challenging to substantiate. Could these experiences be the result of psychological phenomena such as sleep paralysis, cultural influences, or the power of suggestion during interviews and hypnosis? Critics argue that the lack of physical evidence and the reliance on subjective testimony leave these claims open to alternative explanations. Yet the consistency in these stories, reported by individuals with no prior connection to one another, raises questions that remain unresolved. Are these tales the product of the human mind under stress, or do they hint at a reality that defies our current understanding? One of Dr. Karla Turner's most provocative assertions was the claim that human agencies were not merely aware of the abduction phenomenon, but actively complicit in it. According to Turner, several abductees recounted chilling incidents where they were interrogated by human military personnel after their alien encounters. These alleged interrogations often happened in stark, clinical environments, with abductees describing being taken to underground facilities. Many of the facilities, they claimed, housed not only human operatives, but also alien entities, seemingly working in collaboration. The methods used in these interrogations were reportedly coercive and invasive. Abductees described being subjected to threats, drug-induced states, and psychological manipulation. Some reported being strapped to tables while questions about their alien encounters were fired at them. In a particularly disturbing case, an abductee claimed to have been forced under hypnosis to recount details of her experiences, only to find herself questioned repeatedly about the specific abilities and intentions of the being she had encountered. Turner's own experiences seemed to mirror these accounts. She reported being shadowed by unmarked black helicopters and experiencing unexplained disruptions in her communications, such as strange noises and sudden disconnections during phone calls. These instances of alleged surveillance extended to her family and collaborators, leading Turner to believe that her research was being actively monitored. Some of the abductees she interviewed also claimed to experience similar helicopter flyovers or surveillance activities after their encounters, further fueling suspicions of a coordinated effort to suppress information. The underground facilities described by abductees were strikingly uniform in their details. Many spoke of sterile, dimly lit corridors and large rooms filled with advanced machinery and laboratory-like setups. In some accounts, abductees claimed to witness experiments being performed on other humans or hybrids, beings that appeared to be part human and part alien. There were also frequent references to cryogenic-like chambers in which human or alien bodies were stored in various states of preservation. Turner posited that these accounts pointed to a disturbing overlap between alien activity and clandestine human operations. She theorized that certain factions within global governments or military organizations might have formed secret agreements with extraterrestrial entities. These agreements, she suggested, allowed for the exploitation of abductees in exchange for advanced technology or other unknown benefits. Yet the lack of concrete evidence remains a significant barrier to substantiating these claims. Despite the detailed testimony provided by Turner's subjects, no verifiable whistleblowers have come forward to corroborate the existence of such human-alien collaborations. Turner herself acknowledged this gap, noting that much of her research relied heavily on the personal accounts of abductees. Critics argue that these stories could be influenced by psychological factors or the power of suggestion during interviews or hypnosis. For instance, Turner's use of regression techniques has drawn scrutiny, with some experts suggesting that such methods can inadvertently lead subjects to confabulate memories. Others point out that the isolating and stressful nature of abduction experiences could foster paranoia, making abductees more likely to interpret coincidental events, such as helicopter sightings, as targeted surveillance. Nevertheless, Turner's claims remain a focal point for those exploring the darker intersections of UFO phenomena and human conspiracy theories. Are these tales a modern myth shaped by a blend of fear and cultural influences? Or could they be fragmented pieces of a hidden reality, one that challenges our understanding of governmental transparency and human autonomy? Dr. Karla Turner's research unearthed a series of patterns that recurred across multiple abduction cases, drawing attention to phenomena that appeared disturbingly consistent, regardless of geography, background, or individual circumstances. These patterns, while fascinating, also raise the question of whether they reflect genuine phenomena or are instead shaped by broader cultural and psychological influences. One of Turner's most compelling findings was the prevalence of intergenerational abductions. Many abductees reported that their experiences were not isolated, but part of a family history of similar encounters. Parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents often recounted stories of strange lights, missing time, or unexplained encounters with non-human entities. This lineage-based pattern suggested to Turner that the entities behind the abductions had a specific genetic or familial interest in their subjects. In one case, a woman named Amy recounted a series of childhood abductions, only to learn from her mother that she too had been visited by beings as a child. Another family Turner interviewed described how sightings of strange craft and encounters with humanoid figures spanned 4 generations, beginning with the great-grandmother's experience in the early 1900s. Such patterns, Turner argued, pointed to a deliberate targeting of certain bloodlines, possibly for genetic experimentation or observational purposes. Critics, however, suggest that this intergenerational aspect might be better explained by the passing down of cultural narratives or psychological conditioning within families. Stories of haunted houses, alien encounters, or unexplained phenomena often become part of a family's lore, influencing how subsequent generations interpret unusual events. A second pattern Turner identified was the frequent use of what she termed virtual reality scenarios. Many abductees described being shown vivid, lifelike visions that later proved to be fabrications or illusions. These visions often carried emotional weight, ranging from awe to terror, and appeared designed to manipulate the abductee's beliefs or responses. For instance, several abductees reported being shown apocalyptic scenes of Earth's destruction, catastrophic floods, nuclear wars, or barren landscapes scorched by fire. In one particularly chilling account, an abductee described witnessing an alien nursery filled with hybrid infants that looked part human and part alien. While interacting with these children, the abductee was overcome with a sense of maternal attachment, only to later realize that the entire scenario had been manufactured. Religious figures were also common in these scenarios. One woman described seeing an apparition of Jesus Christ during her abduction. His comforting presence convinced her to trust the entities who had taken her. Later, however, she realized that the figure had not behaved in a way consistent with her religious understanding of Jesus, leading her to suspect it was a deliberate ploy to manipulate her trust. Turner theorized that these virtual reality experiences demonstrated the entity's ability to hijack human perception and create convincing false realities. While her findings suggest a deliberate program of psychological manipulation, skeptics argue that such scenarios could also be explained by sleep paralysis, vivid dreams, or suggestibility under hypnosis. Perhaps the most unsettling theme Turner explored was the apparent manipulation of human belief systems. She found that many abductees were led to believe that the entities were benevolent, divine, or otherwise acting in humanity's best interests. This often involved the entities presenting themselves as saviors, angels, or even deities, a tactic Turner famously described as a masquerade of angels. One abductee recounted being told by a tall, glowing figure that she had been chosen for a special mission to help save the planet. The figure spoke in a soothing tone, exuding a divine aura that left the abductee convinced of its benevolence. Others reported being told they were part of an evolutionary plan, with the entities here to guide humanity through a critical transition. Turner argued that this manipulation was part of a broader strategy to foster compliance and obscure the entity's true motives. By exploiting deeply ingrained cultural and religious beliefs, these entities could gain trust and minimize resistance. Skeptics, however, point out that such narratives often align closely with existing cultural archetypes. From angelic visitations in religious texts to modern depictions of aliens in science fiction, the human imagination is replete with imagery that could influence how individuals interpret unexplained experiences. The growing popularity of UFO documentaries, movies, and literature, particularly in the latter half of the 20th century, may have created a feedback loop, shaping both the experiences themselves and how they are later recounted. Turner's findings, while striking, invite an uncomfortable question. Are these patterns evidence of a coordinated extraterrestrial program, or do they reflect the power of shared cultural narratives? The UFO phenomena has always existed within a cultural context, from the Cold War anxieties that informed the mid-20th century flying saucer sightings, to the New Age spiritualism that now colors many abduction accounts. For example, the imagery of grays as the prototypical alien didn't become widespread until after the 1980s, when movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and books like Whitley Strieber's Communion introduced them to the popular imagination. Similarly, Turner's concept of a masquerade of angels resonates with a long history of religious and supernatural folklore, where otherworldly beings deceive or test humanity. Nevertheless, the consistency of these accounts across demographics, geographies, and cultures is difficult to dismiss entirely. Whether they are evidence of an external phenomenon or a reflection of human psychology and culture, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the ways we process the unknown. Are these recurring themes proof of an alien agenda? Or do they simply reveal the shared fears and hopes of a world grappling with its place in the universe? As with much of Turner's work, the truth may lie somewhere in the shadows, elusive and tantalizing. The role of hypnosis in uncovering these accounts cannot be overstated. While it provided a framework for many abductees to articulate their experiences, it is also a deeply flawed tool. Studies have shown that hypnosis can create false memories, particularly when the subject is influenced by leading questions or pre-existing beliefs. Turner was aware of this criticism but defended the consistency of abductees' accounts as evidence of their validity. Yet the absence of physical evidence, a hallmark of scientific inquiry, remains a significant hurdle for her conclusions. Turner's work has drawn criticism not only from skeptics, but also from within the UFO community. Some researchers argue that her focus on the darker aspects of abduction experiences may have biased her findings. Others question her reliance on anecdotal evidence and hypnosis, arguing that these methods cannot establish the objective reality of the encounters. Philip Klass, a noted UFO skeptic, dismissed much of the abduction phenomenon as a combination of sleep paralysis, cultural influence, and psychological suggestion. While Klass's views often dismissed abductees' experiences outright, they underscore the challenges of separating genuine phenomena from subjective interpretation. Even within the abduction community, Turner's emphasis on deception and manipulation by alien entities has been divisive. Some argue her work conflicts with more optimistic interpretations of alien contact, which see these encounters as part of humanity's spiritual evolution. Despite the criticisms, Turner's work continues to resonate with those who feel marginalized by mainstream ufology. Her willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and challenge established narratives has earned her a devoted following. For many abductees, her research validates their experiences, providing a framework to understand events that defy conventional explanation. Yet her legacy also highlights the limits of anecdotal evidence and the dangers of drawing conclusions without rigorous scrutiny. The abduction phenomena remains an enigma, rich with anecdotal accounts, but starved for tangible proof. Turner's untimely death in 1996 from an aggressive form of cancer has only deepened the mystique surrounding her work. Some supporters speculate that her illness was a result of her research, though no evidence supports this claim. What remains is her body of work, a complex, controversial exploration of a phenomena that continues to elude definitive answers. As we sift through Turner's claims, we're left with more questions than answers. Are alien abductions genuine phenomena, or are they the result of psychological, cultural, or neurological factors? What role, if any, do human governments play in these encounters? If Turner's claims of deception and manipulation are accurate, what is the ultimate purpose of the alleged alien agenda? Turner herself often urged caution, warning against taking any aspect of the phenomena at face value. "Resistance is our only weapon," she once said, emphasizing the importance of critical thinking and self-education in confronting the unknown. Dr. Karla Turner's work occupies a unique space in UFO research, a blend of personal conviction, anecdotal testimony, and provocative speculation. Her findings challenge us to consider possibilities that defy conventional understanding, while also demanding rigorous scrutiny of the methods and assumptions underpinning her research. Whether one views Turner as a fearless truth-teller or a figure shaped by the very illusions she sought to expose, her story is a reminder of the power and peril of confronting the unknown. The search for answers continues, but for now, the alien abduction phenomena remains as elusive as the stars themselves.